Hello everyone, I'm Darren Crapo, and welcome to another episode of the UFO Planet Sightings and News Report. On today's episode, we have the latest UFO sightings submitted from around the world. Especially, we have video from the sighting that occurred recently down in Florida. We're going to tell you what it really was, and that's coming up right after this. Welcome back to the program, and I trust that all of you had a fantastic week. I'm sure all of you saw the videos that came out of Florida of the anomaly up in the skies there, and we're going to address that fairly soon on the news. We're going to get the news started right now, news headlines from around the world that have something to do with UFOs. So you have a $5 bill in your pocket? If you do, and you're in Canada, it might have a Spock on it. The Bank of Canada has had to tell Canadian citizens to stop spocking their $5 bills. This is what you see here. That's our $5 bill. And as you can see, this one's already been spocked. And we're going to flash through some of the spocked fivers that have been pulled out of circulation here in Canada. And what it is the regular person that's on this $5 bill is Sir Wilfrid Laurier, who is our 7th president. Pardon me. We don't have presidents. Our 7th prime minister. And there he is right there on the fiver. And he has such a Spock look to him that since Spock died, everyone has been spocking the fivers. Actually, it's been going on a lot longer than that, but it's only really captured the attention of the world since Spock passed away. But they tell us not to do that anymore. I think they should just give up and put Spock on the $5 bill. 9 News out of Australia, they were the people that were telling the truth about what went on down in Florida recently on September 2nd. There was some amazing footage, as I mentioned before, and this is to be included with that. What it was is the launch of an Atlas rocket. Sorry, all of you that were calling it a wormhole and alien invasion and all of those crazy headlines. It was just a rocket launch. But we're going to look at some of the videos from that a little later because it was amazing. From the Express, Patrick Moore saw a UFO get filmed, but the BBC edited out, claims alien hunter. What happened is they were shooting a film, the BBC, about paranormal hotspot Warminster, I hope I pronounced that right, and they actually captured a UFO on film. Now when the documentary came out on television, the UFO wasn't in the film, and it was kind of edited out. I thought that the British were so into UFOs that kind of surprised me, but then again, it was the BBC. Maybe they thought if they put a UFO in the video that the ratings would go up and they'd have all that cash flow and they wouldn't know what to do with the heaps of money. That's a joke, by the way. Don't send me an email. All the British will get that. From the Huff Post, you remember when we had the story on about Donald Trump being followed by an alien? Well, it's been picked up by the Huff Post, which now makes it officially mainstream news. It's kind of interesting to understand that the person who is the top contender for the position of leader of the Republican Party for presidential candidate has UFOs following him. But then again, this is Trump. Maybe he's following the UFOs. I know one thing for sure, if he could get him on his staff, he would. But it was kind of interesting to see the Huff Post pick that up. And it's really reassuring to know that they're paying attention to what's going on in the UFO world. Speaking of what's going on in the UFO world, we have some fascinating shots, videos, photos, everything coming up on today's program. I hope you'll all stick around. We'll be back, well, in just a couple minutes.
UFO Planet.
A lot of people think that I'm definitely an abductee or I'm definitely a contactee, but I just don't remember it, or whatever the case may be. But I'm not going to come out and say that, yeah, I've spoken to aliens and that, you know, they've told me all this about the planet or whatnot. You know, that never happened. All I know is that I've had a couple of very, very strange experiences. Once you put yourself above other people and say that, you know, I'm bigger and better than you because I see this or I do that, you know, it puts you on another level altogether. And because everybody seems to want to put their hand up and say, I'm a contactee or I'm an abductee and I'm special and all this.
Welcome back to the program. If you happen to miss my interview with Damien Knott from Australia, you want to tune that in. You can find it at ufoplanet.4u2ctv.com. He has some amazing footage and some amazing experiences from down under. Now it's time to take a look at some of the UFO sightings that have happened around our beautiful planet here on planet Earth. And we're going to begin our sightings in New York. We're going to take, we're going to go to Morrison first, I guess. Morrison, Colorado. This was recorded on June 20th. This is an interesting photograph, something strange up in the sky. It kind of, when we first look at the photograph, if you look down at the bottom, you can see where those lights are. That's kind of a balcony area, so there's a group of people there that looks like they're having a meal or something like that. But they noticed this object up in the sky and someone took a photograph of it. It looks kind of interesting. When we zoom in on here, on this object, and then we bring it up in a window here, you can take a look, but pay attention what happens when we run it through a filter. We have a couple of red lights that show up on this object. So what do you think that is? Is that an aircraft out there and with lights on it? We know for sure it's not a 57 Chevy up in the air, but there's something in the skies over Morrison, Colorado this past June 20th. I'd really like to read what you guys think we were looking at there. Next, we're going to go off to Germany. This was recorded on June 17th. Now, I want to explain here that this is a photograph that was taken from the 22nd floor of a hotel. That in and of itself is a clue. Leipzig, Germany, July 17th. In my opinion, what we were looking at there is a reflection of lights in the glass. That often happens, and the next time you're standing in front of a plate glass window, check it out. I promise you, you'll see reflections. Next, we're going to head off to Mars. Mars is a beautiful place. Some people say it's inhabited by over 1 billion people. Other people say that these anomalies are captured by our own cameras from NASA. Now, what I've done is put together a few photos here, but this one, the first one here, I really couldn't figure out what it was, and it kind of looks like a flower, but I don't know. Someone can fill me in on that one. This one's easy to distinguish though, isn't it? It looks like a head. You can see the nose, the eyes, the eyebrow, the lips, everything. This particular photo, I'm not sure what it is. It kind of looks like a mouse or a rodent or something, but it certainly looks out of place. We're all familiar with the photograph of the woman. We had this on a previous episode of UFO Planet, and we also had this particular spacecraft that was caught in a photograph on Mars on the program before. So what do you think we're looking at? This one here, I'm not so sure. To me, that looked like a really fuzzy rock, but someone says that's a spacecraft. Now this, however, is a time-lapse photography captured by one of NASA's craft on Mars. Look what it's captured. Now I want to explain that these photographs take place over the course of 10 minutes. This has been captured twice now by NASA craft on Mars. Definite rod UFO. So what is it exactly that we're looking at there? That's definitely something out of this world, and it's not a bug because there's no bugs on Mars. At least that's what we're told, right? So it leaves something to be imagined, that's for sure. We see a rod UFO, and there's actually 2 videos that contain exactly the same thing shot in different locations. I tried to find the second one and wasn't able to in time for the program today. If you happen to have a UFO sighting or a story, some sort of an event, let us know. You can email me directly, darren@4u2ctv.com. If you have media, it works best if you submit it to mufon.com. Then you get some experts looking at it. Makes it easy for me to get your media. And a lot more people are going to know what's going on. We'll be right back. We have a lot more coming up, including 5 UFO sightings in a row. Some of them are pretty amazing, so you're going to want to stick around for sure.
UFO Planet.
It's always difficult to decide what kind of programming or what kind of UFOs I should show on the program, because quite often there are a lot more videos and photos submitted than there are time slots available on this program. So I go through each of them, I download them all to my database, and then I save them all up. And then when I go to create the program the day of the program, I go through them all and decide which ones are going to be on the program. There's a lot out there that really deserve to be here, but like I say, I only have time for just a few. And right now it's time for 5 in a row. We're going to start in New Windsor, New York. And this is the one that starts, or is it an air show? Held just recently, end of summer air show on August 29th. There was a Harrier jump jet that was at the show. It was part of the program, doing a display of what Harriers do best, vertical landings and takeoffs. But a UFO shows up here. Can you see it? There's only 2 frames in the video that have the UFO. You can see one there, and here's the other. Now we zoom in a little bit here. It almost looks like there's a tail on that thing, or maybe even some wings. Now, are we looking at bugs, or what are we looking at? This person actually noticed this object or craft or whatever it is travel by his viewfinder while he was videotaping. So that's an interesting little tidbit of information there. But let's just watch the rest of the video. These Harriers are some fascinating machines, and they're actually working on development right now to make 2 different types of prototypes of commercial airliners, passenger airliners, that will have vertical takeoff and landings too. So some of this military technology might spread over to us regular folk. Although I'm not sure, I've seen some of these things crash during takeoff and landing. Apparently you have to be a very gifted pilot to control them. And I'm not so sure I want to jump into a commercial airliner with that's doing a vertical takeoff, knowing that even though some of these guys are pretty gifted, one small little slip and we're all doing a beak stand. Anyway, this is rather interesting to look at. A Harrier jump jet. They're kind of noisy. Filmed at the New Windsor, New York air show on August 29, 2015, complete with a UFO. And there we go. Pretty amazing. Next, we're going to go to Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States of America. This is a photograph that was captured on August 28th. It's an interesting view, not sure what to make of it. It's right directly over the Capitol building. You can see a nice, beautiful street view there. And what we're looking here is 5 lights that form a V formation over the Capitol building. There they come into view. You can see them quite clearly. First thing that came to my mind when I saw these is you would think that if there were some UFOs flying over the Capitol building, that there would be squadrons of fighter jets converging on the area. They're a little bit gun shy down there since 9/11, and I don't blame them. There's some whack jobs out there in this world. But what exactly are we looking at there? Interesting. Chichester, not sure you pronounce that, Pennsylvania, an August 29th sighting. Now, we've had Chichester on the program in the past, so there's someone down there that's definitely interested in UFOs and is taking care of recording them. Now, I have just over 8,000 videos and photos in my database since I started doing UFO Planet 3 years ago. And from my experience, what we're looking at here are Chinese lanterns. Kind of a beautiful display of them, but they continue to baffle people that see them for the first time. And I have to admit, if I saw them for the first time, I would probably be wondering what they are as well. But I believe that's what we're looking at here in Chichester. As I've said before, what I do on this program is show you what has been submitted. Hahira, Georgia, in the United States of America. That's a very interesting name. Again, just to say, I show you what's been submitted. It's up to you to decide what it is. This is interesting. This is one of those animal wildlife cams, and there's a couple of items that we see in here. Some interesting lights that are flying directly towards the camera, and then there's some sort of an insect or bug that flies just kind of between the camera and that deer. But pay close attention here. This object captures the attention of that deer right now there, and then it almost looks like that deer becomes a little bit agitated by this object. I slowed that down there so we could see both of the objects clearly. But okay, let's look at her in full motion here again, full frame, and take a look and pay close attention to the deer. Take a look at its reaction. It looks up, sees something up there, and then it seems to like become a little bit agitated and all of a sudden want to look for a different place to eat. That is really interesting. Curitiba, Brazil, August 23rd sighting. I hope I have that pronounced correctly. I know I hack names like crazy on the program here. I guess that comes from people hacking my name most of my life. Anyway, here we are at Brazil. Take a look at this photograph. Boy, isn't that a fantastic photograph of a UFO? First thing that came to my mind, though, is it looks very pixelated. You can see it almost looks like someone has edited that in. But then on further examination, I noticed that the entire photo is pixelated. So even the trees look like those little square pixels on them. And Curitiba, Brazil, whatever you had on camera down there is absolutely fascinating, but not enough information to really know for sure. That's it for our 5 sightings in a row. Coming up next on the program, we're going to have some fascinating footage that comes to us from Miami, Florida, from Hollywood, Florida, from Miami Beach, Florida, of an Atlas rocket launch. I'll be right back.
UFO Planet.
Well, I think we have everything straight here now, and we're ready to show our top video clip of the day. Some fascinating footage, you guys. What happened is there was an Atlas rocket launched by NASA down in Florida, and it was witnessed by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, and dozens of those people pulled out their cameras and took videos. Now, there were lots of uploads to the internet with this video, multiple videos. We had the people that we can count on for blowing everything out of proportion, calling it a wormhole. We had one person calling it angels visiting the Earth, and in reality, it's just NASA launching a rocket. Here we go.
Es un avión.
La barrera del sonido.
No, que va, si tú no lo vieras, si fuera verdad.
Qué lindo hacer eso.
Sí, pero ¿por qué está prendido? Andre, look at this. Look up. What is this? What is that?
Y se pone ancho, bro, ¿de qué cojones?
Y se va poniendo ancho y ancho y ancho y ancho.
Saca el video, saca el video. Eso está extraño con pinga, bro.
Se está cayendo, pues.
No. Eso está extraño con pinga, bro. Eso, bro.
Bueno, esto es de Miami. Si los extraterrestres vienen aquí, creo que nos van a visitar primero.
¿Qué pinga es eso, bro? Mira, el foto está yendo para que ya lo vean.
Eso es un avión.
Oye, va para abajo, papu. Hey, homie. The fuck is this, man? AT?
Oye, mira cómo se vira eso, cómo se vira de lado, bro.
Pero viene para acá, ¿qué cosa? Viene para acá, papu.
¿Ves? O está mirando para allá.
Ahí no está cayendo eso, bro.
Seres, ¿qué pinga es eso, bro? Look at this.
¿Eso va para abajo o va para arriba? Ah, pero es que ese es humo, por luz, ¿no? Entiendo.
Pero ¿por qué prendido?
Cuidado, lo que pasa por aquí. Mira, desapareció. O todavía queda algo ahí. Oye, nos vemos, dale.
Yeah, but why would it light up like that? Yo no sé, no sé.
No extraterrestre.
¿Sí, verdad? Por favor, dime que le tiraste foto en la luna.
That's weird. It's like making all the light go away, but I can't zoom in. It just looks like a bright white light.
Hey, if that's some sort of like airplane, some ¿qué es eso? Hay una estrellita, como una luz para atrás. Eso está un poco raro, ¿ah?
Mira, ya no da luz.
Barely see it anymore. And I completely lost sight of it. Completely lost sight of it. Wow. Do not know what that is, but it's pretty impressive. You can still see the tail that I left.
A lot of footage from Miami, Florida. That's really interesting. What's even going to be more interesting is to see how all the whack job websites that were passing that off as a wormhole, one that was saying it was the return of Jesus Christ, how they, save face after selling something that they obviously didn't even do 5 minutes of research in. That's the disappointing thing about the UFO world. There's far too many people out there that are interested in clicks instead of the truth, even if truth is in the name. There's a lot of videos that are waiting to be shown to you guys, and I have them in my archives yet. You're going to see some of them appear now and then on the upcoming shows along with the most recent sightings. I want to say thanks to everyone for your participation in the program through comments and through your submissions. I love hearing from everyone. I just can't get enough. I'll be back again on Monday, but this weekend I'll be joined by Yasmin for an interview. Make sure you tune that in on Sunday. Thanks for watching the show. I'm Darren Crapo.